Incredibly, as you pointed out a few minutes ago when running down the Atlantic Division, it is outside of Clemson. Clemson has posted the two most important wins in the division because obviously they took out the two, what I consider to be the two best other teams in the division back to back. So they have posted the two most important wins, except Syracuse is the one team sitting there. Now, granted, they haven't played anyone,
Right.
and they get their first test coming up with NC State at home this weekend. So if Syracuse could somehow pull out a win against NC State just to make it interesting, just to make it that Clemson's not going to curb stomp everyone and just lay the division to waste. I would love to see Syracuse go play Clemson later this season at whatever point that game is as
Next
a
week.
team. Next week. Oh, so this is perfect. If they could somehow beat NC State, which I think they've got a fighting chance, although I think NC State's a better team. Syracuse wins that game. At least it sets up on paper a division showdown.
What's setting up right now for Florida State? If you're the Florida State Seminoles, you're playing for what could be a decent bowl berth at this point. There's a chance right now that Florida State could play anywhere from, if you look at the projections, I believe there's one that says Illinois in the Pinstripe Bowl. It's at Yankee Stadium. There's a projection I saw of playing UCLA in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego, which I would die to go to that game because I think San Diego is one of the most amazing places in this country.
Yep.
There's a chance, and it's like a beautiful mind with 20 different ways to get here. There is still a outside shot that Florida State could play in the Orange Bowl. Because what you have to remember, the Orange Bowl is tied to the ACC champion. If Clemson goes to the playoff, they are contractually obligated to take the highest ranked team left from the ACC. So if Syracuse folds, if NC State, if they lose another game, and Wake Forest loses another game, they have 2 losses. NC State has 2 losses. And let's say Florida State loses to Clemson this week, but wins their last 5 games and somehow goes 9-3 on the season. Let's just say in a perfect world that happens. They could catapult into the rankings enough to be the top team right there in the ACC at that point behind Clemson, and they would be able to go to the Orange Bowl. So there is an outside shot. Do I think that happens? Probably not. I think it's more of a Holiday Bowl or a Pinstripe Bowl, which at this rate, I would take that in an absolute heartbeat. But I think that's where the optimism comes into play, and that's what we need to see. If Florida State loses by 3 or 4 points against this Clemson team, I think Florida State can win their last 5 games. If Florida State gets blown out by 17 points or more, I think Florida State is in trouble because, like you said, you're playing a Georgia Tech team after the bye week where, I think we're a better team than Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech's also won their last 2 games right now at this rate. You're playing a Miami team that it's 2 out of its 3 games before Florida State are a Virginia Tech team with a losing record, a Virginia team with a losing record, and Duke. Duke is a better team than them right now, but I think there's a chance Miami could win all 3 of those games. You've got a Syracuse team who's unbeaten and a Florida team who somehow Florida is 4-2 and about to play an LSU team. Florida could be 5-2 right now by the end of this weekend. So it could be interesting at this point to see where Florida State is at this point of the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Georgia Tech has a new head coach after firing Jeff Collins, and he has worked wonders with 2 games that Georgia Tech had no chance conceivably of winning a month ago after losing 13 consecutive ACC games, losing, I think it was 10 consecutive FBS games. They've knocked off Pitt and Duke the last 2 weeks, and now Georgia Tech at 2-1 has a shot to win the division.
The defending ACC champion, Pitt Panthers.
Yes.
Your Pitt Panthers.
Crazy stuff here in the Coastal.
I still owe you $20 for that pick.
And we are what, Jason? We are just 1 season away from there being no division selection for the championship game, correct? Or are we 2 seasons away?
No, it's next season, but in a perfect world, we're 1 season away from being in the Big Ten. Let's just be honest about it.
Okay, well, if you want to look at it that way, I'm going to stay with what we know right now.
Big Ten, please, Big Ten. I can wait till 2024. Give me 1 more. That's fine. Just take us, please.
But so all that mess in the Coastal Division, all those mediocre teams, they need to take advantage this year because that gift to a title game slot will be taken away next season.